Good morning, students. We'll discuss about in that portion that how participants saw civil disobedience movement. The rich peasants, like various communities, took part in the disobedience movement. How their interpretation towards the civil disobedience movement, what they want to gain from this movement for them. One of the example of rich peasants of communities like Patidars of Gujarat and Jats of Uttar Pradesh, what they thought about this movement. They were very active in CDM, being producer of commercial crops. They were very hard hit by Great Depression and falling prices as their cash income disappeared. They found it impossible to pay the government revenue demand. When the refusal of the government to reduce the revenue demand led to widespread movement. This rich peasants became enthusiastic supporters of civil disobedience movement because they thought it if the country would become independent or they gained Swaraj, they did not have to pay revenue to the Britishers. So they get maximum profit out of it. But they were deeply disappointed when the movement was called off in 1931 without the revenue rate being revised. So when the movement was restarted again in 1932, most of them were refused to participate in the movement. The poor peasants, they were the tenants. They did not have their own land. They took part the land from the landlords and perform agriculture over there. During the time of depression, if the depression continued and and cash income dwindled, the small peasants found it difficult to pay the rent. They wanted the unpaid rent to be landlords to be remitted. They joined varieties of radical movement, often led by the socialists and communities. It means that they did not take part Gandhian movement civil disobedience. Apprehensive of rising issues of might upset the rich peasants and landlords. Congress were also unwilling to support the no rent campaign in most places. So Congress party was uncertain to take their support, and there also their attraction towards the socialist and communist movements. The industrial business class, their attitude towards it. In the First World War, their industries gained a huge profit and became powerful. They were keen on expanding their business outside of the country, but colonial power restricted their activities. They wanted protection against imports of foreign goods and rupee sterling exchange. Sterling is a currency of Britain. Exchange ratio that would discourage imports. To organize, they had their some organizations were there, like Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress in 1920 and Federation of Indian Chambers of Congress, in short FICCI, in 1927. These were the leading business organizations of the country. Prominent industries like Purushottam Das, Thakur Das and G.D. Birla, the colonial G.D. Birla were the prominent leaders. The industries attacked colonial control over the Indian economy and supported the civil disobedience movement when it was first launched. They gave financial support and refused to buy or sell import goods. Most businessmen came to see Swaraj as a time when colonial restrictions of business would no longer exist and trade and industry would flourish without constraint. They thought that country would become independent under this movement, and they had a great chance to expand their business outside of the country. But the failure of roundtable conference business groups were no longer uniformly support of CDM. So basically they withdrawn their support from the movement. The इंडस्ट्रियल वर्किंग क्लास, फैक्ट्रीज में काम करने वाले जो वर्कर्स है वो अपने मालिकों के सपोर्ट के कारण कांग्रेस के सपोर्ट में नहीं आए. सम ऑफ द प्लेसेस ओनली नागपुर रीजन्स दे गेव देयर सपोर्ट एज द इंडस्ट्रीज केम क्लोजर टू कांग्रेस. Workers, in spite of that, workers they did not participate in CDMs. In some of the places only, selectively adopting some of the ideas of Gandhian programs like boycott of foreign goods, and as part of their own movements against low wages and poor working conditions. There were strikes by the railway workers in 1930 and dockyard workers in 1932. Some of the popular struggles were there. In 1930, thousands of workers of Chota Nagpur Chota Nagpur tin mines wore Gandhi caps and participated in protests, rallies and boycott campaign. But the Congress was reluctant to include workers' demand as a part of program of struggle because they get the support of industrial business class. It felt that this would alienate just a list of to divide the anti-imperial forces. Railway workers strikes in 1930 are the famous strikes organized by the workers in 1930. Then how women participation in CDM. As you can see in the picture, Gandhiji called upon women as well. You can see women also picketed wine shops. They also organized rallies. They also listened Mahatma Gandhi's lecture. Women participated in CDM in large numbers during Gandhiji's Salt March. Thousands of women came out from their homes to listen to him, participated in protest marches, manufactured salt and picketed foreign clothes and liquor shops. Many went to jail for this incident as well. In urban centers, women were from high caste families. In rural areas, they came from rich peasants households. Moved by Mahatma Gandhi's call, they began to see service to their nation as a sacred duty. A woman, yet this increased public role, yet did not increase their public role necessarily mean that radical changes in the way of position of women was visualized in our country. They were confined with household activities. Mahatma Gandhi himself was convinced that it was a duty of women to look after home and health of good mother and good wives. So he also not encouraged more participation in public life. Congress were also reluctant to allow women to hold any position in the authority or within the organization. Some of the leaders like Annie Besant and Sarojini Naidu, there are a few examples only who became Congress president during that period. So this was the various groups of people who supported civil disobedience movement directly and indirectly for their personal causes.